Alrighty, hello ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to another episode of Dark Souls. When we last left off, we had just made our way into the Darkroot Garden, and today we're going to be continuing and hopefully getting all the way to the Darkroot Basin. So, as I showed at the end of the last episode, once you enter the Darkroot Garden, when you get to this little archway up here, it's an illusionary wall. Just get to the bonfire. And now, starting from that same bonfire, we are really quick going to be walking back along this path for a moment. Doing so, as you can see, get our hands on the soul item. And take care of all those guys. Ooh. And getting a blood red moss clump, which very useful, at least for later. So these tree guys, a big important thing about them is that they will drop various forms of the moss clumps, which can be very useful to gather. Especially the purple moss clumps, which block or cure poison, which is going to be very, very important later on down the line. But aside from getting that soul item, you're going to make your back this way, and we're going to continue on. So, see a fog gate up ahead. Don't worry, that's just a world fog gate, not a boss. Before we enter, though, we've got an item right over there. However, as you might be able to see, they're kind of well hidden, but you see those little shrubs? Yeah, this is an ambush point. You run in, get that item, all of those little shrubs turn out to be those tree guys that'll just jump up and totally destroy you. So instead, you're gonna walk in carefully and just attack. And you're gonna make your way to the next one. Deal with him. And make your way to the last one. And deal with him. Now, thankfully, this is like a one-time ambush. I believe if we return here again after resting in a bonfire, these guys will just be up and standing. And even if not, there's no real reason to come back in here unless you're trying to farm for more purple moss clumps or blood red moss clumps or something. But there's plenty more to get elsewhere. So, now we're going to head through this fog light. Find ourselves in a bit of a more open area. It's not too big, but there's this path around, and then there's this little forest area. As you can see, there's also these big stone guys. These guys are very, very strong, and they have a very annoying ability. Yeah, they do that thing with an incantation where they make you super heavy and slow you down and make you fat roll. They are very annoying enemies to deal with. Thankfully, the enchantment doesn't last too long, and once you kill them, the enchantment goes away instantly, letting the mid-roll again. And if you come over this way, you might see this really strange-looking tree. It's got moving roots and everything. What is this? Well, this is actually a type of monster, or enemy at least. Now, it won't attack you, but if you attack it, you'll find that it's got a health bar. It's dead. It'll open up a pathway. Yeah. Very interesting way to block a path instead of just a regular illusionary wall. Now they've got living trees, or, well, animated trees. Yeah. Honestly, I prefer weird, creative shit like this than to just regular illusionary walls. Looks so weird, but kind of makes me wonder what the hell these things really are. Of course, These moving trees don't really seem to come up in the lore anywhere, or at least as far as I'm aware. Oh no. Maybe there's some hidden lore about moving trees that's actually incredibly important to the deepest secrets of Dark Souls. Alrighty. Now we're in this little secret area. We make our way forward. We'll be heading up that way in a bit. But for right now, if we come this way, we'll find another one of those stone dudes. Now, make sure that you don't go near that cliff edge just yet, because there's enemies that will jump up from the cliff edge, and facing all of those guys along with this stone soldier is really, really annoying. And when these guys do their enchantment thing, you can try and back away, and that... Oh, never mind. Yeah, usually that helps you avoid it, but unfortunately I did get caught this time. Although, I do believe that enchantment is area of effect when it's placed down. I don't know. It seems to cut in and out sometimes. It's weird. Alrighty, so now we got more of these frog ray things. I don't know what these things are called. Are cool looking though. Really, really cool. It's like a frog combined with a manta ray. If you're wondering if they are extra poisonous because of that, then yes, they are. Make sure there's nothing over there. We are going to come this way though, because there is something over here. Soul of a Proud Knight. Now, we're going to come up this way. And when you're first coming into the Darkroot Garden, the path that you're walking along is like a cliff edge. And you might have noticed that there was an item across the chasm. Deal with this guy first. There we go. Anyways, as I was saying, you might have noticed an item across the chasm. Well, that's what this is. What you saw earlier was the wolf ring. It's a pretty good ring. Let's take a look at it real quick. It boosts poise. So basically, this makes it so you stagger less easily. Kind of, basically, you know, if you're blocking with a shield, if your stamina gets fully drained from a shield, when you're wielding a shield, that'll stagger you. But also, if there are some weapons where they do a lot of poise damage, and so that might just break your defense before your stamina runs out. So the wolf ring boosts poise and just makes it so that your defense doesn't break as easily, so that your enemies have a harder time on just getting a critical on you. That isn't to say it protects you from being parried, just from breaking your defense. However, if we take a look at the description, we'll also notice that this has an interesting lore mention. It's one of the special rings granted to the four Knights of Gwyn, who are characters that are more important later on in the game. We'll be encountering all four of them, I believe, throughout the entirety of the game. And this one belongs to Artorias. And Artorias is a very cool character. He'll become very important as well in once we enter and interact with the DLCs. But Artorias has a lot of wolf symbolism alongside him, and he's just one of the coolest characters in the entirety of the Dark Souls series, and honestly one of my own personal favorites. He is like the coolest knight. So cool. And his lore is also just so cool. Anyways, so we can decide between that or the blue Tearstone ring. Honestly, the blue Tearstone ring is doing pretty good work for us right now, so I think we're just going to be keeping that. Now, we want to get back to where we were. You're just going to have to jump. And now we find ourselves back. Oh, I stopped carrying around that body. Now we find ourselves back at the very first bonfire. So, heading back the way we came down before. See that right there, the path we went down. We're now going to enter this little forested area. And as you can see right there, there's an item to pick up. But as you can also probably see, there's 2 big stone knights. And if you pick that item up, they will just rise up and attack you and totally destroy you. So instead of just immediately picking it up, we're going to draw out a bunch of these guys, as well as the stone knights. Ow. Make sure we kill the tree man. Oops. Yeah, when they cast that sort of weight spell, the spell that slows you down and ruins your weight load. I think it's like it becomes an area of effect aura around the big stone guys. So when they do it, if you get close to them, it'll affect you. But if you stay away from them, you should be fine. Honestly, it's not the worst thing in the world. Big stone guys are slow already, and if you have a physical shield, you should be able to protect yourself just fine. Anyways, so either the tree guy or this guy dropped a golden little blip here, which means this is a rare drop, I believe. Stone Great Shield, yeah. Pretty good shield. Stone Great Shield. It's got quite a lot of durability. It has way better defense in everything. Even its attack damage is superior. But as you can see, it weighs 20 as opposed to the 2. So yeah, these Stone Knight guys, their entire armor set, as well as their sword and their shield, are all you can collect all of those, the sword and the shield, from drops from just killing these guys. And the armor set, I think you can actually just find on its own elsewhere. The common thing about them is that they all weigh an absolute ton. Very similar to an armor set that we'll encounter in the future from a guy named Havel. Havel is an enemy that we might even get to today, depending on circumstances, but he also wears a stone armor set that is just an improved version of this one. So these guys are basically like proto-Havels almost. High defense armor, but it weighs a ton, and it will make you fat. Up. Ow. I am not being very smart with my attacks right now. I'm just letting this guy go to town on me. There we go. Alrighty. Now that all those guys are dealt with, the Elite Knight set. This is some fine armor. Honestly, it's one of my favorite armor sets just because it's so cool. It's just got such a good look, and it's got really good defenses. And even though it is pretty hefty in comparison to just like hard leather armor or something, pretty reasonable for the amount of defenses it gives you. As you might notice, yeah, this is also Oscar's set, the set that he was wearing. And this is basically the Dark Souls 1 armor set. It's like, if you look at the almost any artwork depicting Dark Souls 1, as well as just the cover image for the remastered edition of Dark Souls 1, this armor set is what the main guy's wearing. It's just such an iconic set from this game. It's so good. Fortunately, due to the weight, I am going to fat roll. So, let's see. Alright. So wearing the hard leather armor chest piece is enough for me to continue with mid-rolls. So, now that we've killed all those guys, we are going to venture around to the side. Just double check and make sure that we got everything. Oh, and if you'll look over here, there's another living tree, but this one has a snake dude on it. Two-headed snake thing. Yeah, I don't know what these are called. They do look cool, though. And they're pretty easy to kill. One strike is all it really needs. And they drop egg vermifuge. Ew. It's just... what do these things even do? Where's parasite? Oh, right. This is parasitic egg from the body. So, parasitic egg, that's a thing involving another covenant, which we will get to in the future. But it's not for a while now. I'll let you know when we come across it, if I remember to. Basically, there's covenant for the, I think her name is the Fair Lady, I believe, and part of her covenant may involve you growing these parasitic eggs on your body, and if you don't want to do that, then egg vermifuge. And it gets rid of that. Nice and easy. Hey, sorry for the random cut, guys. Somebody entered my room and caused a little bit of an interruption, so I had to cut that for better sake of the flow of the story, or the Let's Play, even. Mid-cut, had to deal with this guy, and he dropped a stone greatsword. Alrighty, so the boss up ahead is a boss known only as the Moonlight Butterfly. Now, it's a very easy boss. It's not strong at all. The only thing is, for a strength build like me, who uses no long-range attacks, it's really annoying to deal with. Again, it's not hard. It's just that it flies, and because of that, I can't always reach it. I can only reach it when it's stopped attacking. And so it's just like a waiting game, and that's really annoying. So for the sake of brevity, we're gonna summon the witch Beatrice. And she's just gonna help speed this boss up. Again, like, if I was playing a sorcerer or something, this is like one of the bosses where I normally don't summon on. It's just, you know, it's just a time waster boss. Kind of annoying, but... So we're just going to speed through the boss with the witch Beatrice at our side. She's a pretty cool lady. She has... I think there are some lore things to do with her, or at least someone similar to her. Not 100% on that, but who knows. We'll come across the lore regarding any other important witches, potentially her, at a later date. So, we're going to traverse the white light. Fight the Moonlit Butterfly. Oh, there it is. Beatrice. Get out of the way. There she goes. See, this boss, it just flies around in the air and I can't attack it because it's just out of my reach, so... It's just annoying. So Beatrice here is just to make this boss slightly less of a time waster. I do like this boss's design aesthetic. Oh, wow. I didn't even get to attack her. And we got the soul of a Moonlight Butterfly. And a humanity. Nice. So yeah, pretty simple, straightforward boss right there. Nothing too complex. And we're gonna make our way right on up. On through here. At the top of this tower, we're going to get our very first coal. Or, no, there it is, Divine Ember, even, sorry. So, we also got the Watchtower Basement Key. Now, what watchtower would that apply to, do you think? Well, you'll see in just a bit. Oh, we also got a Homeward Bone. Yeah, that should tell you something. There's nothing else in this little area here. So, we're just going to use a Homeward Bone and speed along home. And now that we're back at the bonfire, we're going to head out of the Darkroot Garden. And make our way back towards Andre so we can give him that ember. No, didn't drop it. Moss clump. That. And we'll also head that way in just a sec. Another blood red moss clump. Alright. Now that back in the Undead Parish, we're just gonna run into Andre. Oh God, got something stuck in my throat. Alrighty. Now back at Andre.
That's a rare ember you have there. I've seen one of those before. It's the ember of a divine blacksmith. Might you consider leaving that with me? I can produce divine weapons with a flame such as that.
Sure thing, Andre.
Well, thanks for that. You've made a fine decision. You soon shall see.
So yeah, anytime you get an ember throughout your adventure, which there's quite a few, just give them to Andre. Well, the only person you can give them to is Andre, I believe. I don't think any of the other blacksmiths can have them. Anyways, once you do, then you'll be able to ascend your weapons to different elements based on what ember you're using for it. So, for example, the Divine Ember will allow you to ascend your weapons into Sacred Weapons. There's also things like the Crystal Ember, the Magic Ember, the Occult or Dark Ember. Plenty of different embers for plenty of different weapon types. Anyways, we're also just going to repair our equipment real quick. Just out of convenience. And we're going to repair our armor too. Oh, not reinforce armor.
Don't get yourself neither.
Whoopsie daisy. Well, anyways. Gonna head back upstairs. And now, that we have a moment, we're gonna spend some souls. So, quick. Gonna use these now. As you'll see, Soul of a Moonlight Butterfly is in our inventory, and if you want, you can use it to gain souls, but this is a boss soul, and it is used to create boss items. So, I believe... let me think. Pull up my list here. So, alright. So the Soul of the Moonlight Butterfly, it can be used to create the, I believe, the Crystal Ring Shield, which is just a shield. And you also get the Moonlight Butterfly Horn, which I believe is a sword of some kind, and it does magic damage, I believe. It's an alright sword, but honestly, it's not anything that we're going to be using in this playthrough, especially the Crystal Ring Shield. We could, I guess, maybe use that, but crystal items aren't as good as they seem to be at first. Because the thing with crystal items, like the Crystal Ring Shield, Crystal Swords, and other stuff we'll encounter later, they're fragile, and there's no way to repair their durability. And when they break forever. So yeah, Crystal Ring Shield, not really in for us either. So, instead, I'm just going to consume it. Give myself more something. Now let's level up. So, if I remember correctly, the Black Knight Greatsword, it requires 32 strength. I'm pretty sure if you two-hand... Forget how much two-handing a weapon gives you in addition. I think it's only 5 or something? Let's see. Which, oh yes, by the way, if you have a big weapon and you aren't meeting the strength requirement quite yet, you can try and two-hand a weapon, which you can do by pressing Y, and that might give you the extra points you need. I believe it gives you an extra 5. Not 100% sure on that, though. Try with this. See if that works. Yeah. So, I only have 25 in my strength stats. However, if I two-hand, then it becomes enough to wield the sword. So it's a cool mechanic. It returns in pretty much all of the Dark Souls games, Souls-likes, as far as I'm aware. I know in this game, Dark Souls 3 and Elden Ring, if your strength stat is lacking, then you can just two-hand the weapon and it'll bring your strength stat up enough to be able to wield it. I'm still overburdened though, so I think... foregoing the gloves is enough. Nah, I don't look good that way. What about the headpiece? Nope, headpiece ain't enough. Alright, well. Let's see. How about that? Nope, still not enough. This is enough. Oh no, it's going to roll. There we go. Alrighty. So, still in my hard leather armor, but now I got the big sword. The big and powerful sword. And we're gonna upgrade it. As much as I can, at least.
Well, you need it.
Reinforced weapon. Oh, I don't have enough souls for this. Haha. Let's see. Can I sell things to you? No, I don't believe I can.
I'll be seeing you then.
Alright, well, whatever.
Okay.
We'll reinforce this at a later time. It's pretty freaking strong on its own anyways, so we don't even really need to worry about reinforcing it just yet. Alrighty. Re-entering the Darkroot Garden. gonna make our way down. Instantly kill that guy. And now we're going to walk up this way. Now, you do want to be careful. This is a bit of a precarious path and it can be easy to fall off. Just stay close to the wall. And you should be fine. And we have now entered the Darkroot Basin. Pretty fun area. Not that wall. Oh, there's another hidden entrance or something somewhere around here. Titanite Lizard! Got him. Alrighty. Oh, didn't mean to do that. Now, making our way down a little further. Going to drop down here. And grab this leather armor set. And roll down here. Now, we have a bit of a ways to go. That's to another area just over there. And up there you can see the Undead Burg. That's the, I believe, the red kite dragon. Yeah. The red kite dragon bridge. Well, mouthful. And that's the tower and the other rampart where we fought the Taurus demon. So, we're just nearby that area, and we will be making a return there pretty soon. But before that, well, probably not this episode. Before we do any of that, though, we've got another Dark Knight here. This one is wielding a glaive. And got the drop attack, yeah. So this Dark Knight is pretty easy to deal with. He'll come rushing at you with the glaive and his shield. All you gotta do is walk your way up and around, get him to attack the wall, and then drop attack him. Pretty simple, and if you've got the big Dark Knight greatsword like I do, you kill him in one shot. Though chances are you probably don't, so it's probably going to take you a little bit more effort. Does drop a blue Titanite chunk, which is pretty nice. And we've got another bonfire over here, which is also pretty nice. I'm gonna take a little rest. And real quick, just gonna double check that there's nothing else down here. Nope, this is bottom level. So, we've got a pretty mysterious bonfire down here. A bonfire that is going to lead us into another special area. Pull the contraption. So, a bonfire in a sort of secret, almost secret cave down to another area. What could this possibly be? Well, according to some theories, this is a fairly important passageway for lore reasons, specifically pertaining to a specific event that we haven't really discussed yet, but we have hinted at through a couple of items that we've gotten so far. Again, some of you out there watching this video will probably know what I'm talking about, and we'll be going over it in more detail once we get to that event. So, that little passageway and elevator takes us down to the Valley of the Drakes. Now, we've been in here before. We got here through the entrance of the New Londo room. Now, find that it just wraps around all the way this way. Now, we've got these drakes here. Can be kind of annoying enemies. They look like mini versions of the red kite dragon, except they're blue. And they've got lightning breath, so they're pretty powerful. Can kill you pretty easily. So, these guys are guarding some kind of gates, which we aren't going to be messing with just yet. Down this passageway is a pathway leading all the way back to the New Londo ruins, where we first initially entered this area. For now, though, this place is a bit out of our depth, so we're just going to head on back and make our way back to the Darkroot Basin. Alrighty. Now we're back. And we're going to take a little resty at this bonfire. And that, I believe, is going to do us for today. Next time, we'll be continuing our adventures in the Darkroot Basin and hopefully making our way towards another cult that's hiding in... not cult. Another covenant, sorry, that's hiding in this area. Hope you guys enjoyed the video, and I hope to see you again. Peace.